right? The most beautiful parts of the earth, Israel's going to inherit. All right? And all we have to do is act. But it's prophecy that this is going to come to pass.
Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
We should take them captives, who captives we were, because we were once a possession, and we still are a possession of the so-called white man. So we're going to take them captives, who captives we were,
and they shall rule over their oppressors.
And we're going to rule over those that oppress us. And he oppresses through taxes, he oppresses through labor, he oppresses because some of us have children, he got us in child support. So we're going to rule over
the system oppresses.
Yeah, the system oppresses.
Okay, daily.
That's right.
This is Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 14. And they shall sever out men of continuing employment.
Sever out, meaning give work. So, you know, they in our economy right now, they worry about low job rates. And the kingdom is going to be full job rates for the evil. It's going to be nothing but work to do. It's going to be nothing but work for to do.
That's what it says. Back in Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 14. And they shall sever out men of continuing employment.
So you're going to sever out. So if this task needs to be done, this heathen's going to do it. Or if this task needs to be done, this heathen's going to do it. Right?
It says, passing through the land to bury the passengers, those that remain upon the face of the earth.
And one of the tasks would be to bury the dead, because this war that's coming up.
That's the it's going to start with the elect, the elective Esau, the top banking families. They're going to be that's going to be their first job. To dig them holes and bury them bodies. We're going to be looking over them too.
You better do a good job. It says,
we can almost taste it. We can almost fucking taste it. And we know you wicked and neat. We know you watch out for it. The Lord, the Lord got the spirit on you to watch out for it. So you know it's coming. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Windsors, DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers. There you go, brother. Oppenheimer. That's right.
It says, go from riches to rags.
That's right. It says, it says, passing through the land to bury the passengers, those that remain upon the face of the earth.
Yeah, because not everybody's going to die in this next war. There's going to be a few that live, and that's going to be their duty. One of their duties is to bury the dead that remain after this war.
Right. It says to cleanse the earth.
Right, because according to the law, you have to bury the dead to clean the land. Right?
It says, upon the face of the earth to cleanse it, and after, after the end of 7 months, they shall they reach. That was it.
No, slow.
It says, in the passages that pass through the land, when any see of a man's bones.
So this has to be fulfilled. So in the process of time, it's not literally 7 months. It's in the process of time. They're going to go throughout the land, looking for dead bodies, right?
It says, and the passages that pass through the land, when any man when any see of a man's bones.
Uh-oh, there goes some bones right there. Right?
It says, then he shall set a sign.
So he's going to stamp the ground, and then the other laborer is going to have to come and bury that body or bury the bone.
Dig the hole and bury the body.
Yeah, bury the body. Yeah.
Till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hemingway.
That's right. So that's going to happen. So jump back to the
Isaiah 14:3, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
Yeah, because is any brother in rest right now? No. So it's going to come a time where the Lord is going to give us rest. Can somebody get the definition of rest?
And you can get a precept of Hebrews 4:9.
Hebrews 4:9?
Yeah, they remain for rest.
Give me a definition of rest real quick.
Yeah, the Hebrew word for rest is Noah. It says to rest, settle down, and remain, to repose, have rest, be quiet, to cause to give rest to make quiet.
There you go, man. And the first thing you hear in the morning is what? An alarm clock. So we definitely not in quietness. You know?
Micah 2:10. Right, this is not our.
That's a more.
Micah 2:10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and it shall destroy you, even if done. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Yeah, arise and depart from this society, because this is not where you're supposed to be settling down. You got other false prophets out there talking about build up and build a land. And the place is going to be destroyed. This place is not set up for us to rest because we're constantly beat down and not be able to rise. So it says, arise ye and depart, but this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. First and foremost, it's polluted by the blood of the Israelites. You know, because the scriptures talk about, what's that, 35 and 33, yeah, saying that, I'm not going to my greatness, but the only way it's going to be cleansed is by the blood of them that shed it, which is Esau. So part of the cleansing is the fire, but also Esau's blood. That's how it's going to be totally cleansed. Yeah, the air is polluted, the food that we eat, we eat shit. That's that parable Ezekiel. God told Ezekiel to eat man's dung, to test it. Then the Lord told him to eat cow's dung. So that's likened unto the food that we eat.
Say something real quick. This scripture also proves that reincarnation exists, because those people that killed so-called Native Americans back then, guess what? Those same people that did that, they're going to come back in this time for their judgment. That's right. Send those blood all the way back there. That's right. Okay, if I say real quick, because up by some board, you have, I think your Ammonites, that they were able to use actual feces and create a fucking steak out of it. Yeah, a steak out of it.
All the food that we eat is shit. Yeah, how many videos we see made out of bugs? We don't want to be there.
Also, I saw on TikTok in Great Britain, they have, you get this guy, he was out there, and they using human cells to create meat, like steak, for people to eat. And people will eat it, they're saying it tastes better than animals. Meat made out of human cells.
I'm sorry, remember the celebrities did that. They give their part of themselves. I'm sorry, they're giving up the part of themselves and making food out of it. Ellen DeGeneres, that she was part of it. She was part of celebrities, picking up part of their body cells or something and making food out of it. Part of that idolatry and license. So basically, we know why the scripture says this place is polluted. Right? We know, we understand. Right?
They even, a few weeks back, they okayed the sale of fake chicken, like clone chicken. Yes, this place, man.
That's what you have called for? Hebrews 4:9. There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of the Most High. Alright, back in
Hebrews
4:9. There remaineth therefore a rest. What's that rest? Not here. The rest is talking about the kingdom to come. To the people of the Most High, and like this brother was saying, all right, the rest is going to be for the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? These other nations, we're going to put their ass to work, all right? In the scriptures, you know, you're supposed to give a man wages. You know, he works, the sun goes down, you pay this man. But here in this kingdom, you can work from sun up to sundown for some people for a month before you even get a check. You know? Back in Isaiah 14 and verse 4.
No, I got a quick one. Yeah, this is Revelations chapter 21, verse 4. And Yahweh will wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Where's that going to be?
In the kingdom. You know, this is going to happen in the kingdom.
These brothers got precepts. Break it down as you read it.
Yeah, right. And you know, as everybody, you know, brothers is breaking down, you know, this is not our rest. So, you know, in the kingdom, we're going to have rest because we're going to have new bodies, we're going to be made perfect. So it says, verse 5, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. You know, which the word is true. And we see it manifest.
Isaiah 14 and 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
Yeah, so it's going to come a time where they're going to say, how has the oppressor ceased? Which we know the oppressor being America. They're going to say, how have the oppressor ceased? Go ahead.
The golden city.
Esau's the oppressor.
Yeah, Esau.
Yeah. and its goddamn system. Starting with them top banking families.
The golden city ceased.
Which we know is America because everybody has a term that America's paid with the city's paid with gold. You see?
It says the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of the rulers.
Yeah, so the Lord is going to crush their power, their might. Right? When he sends his son Yahweh Shah, his second return. And he take him out of power.
The prophecy says Yahweh Shah is coming with great power.
I got a piece of back on that. It says, Isaiah chapter 24, verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high. The hosts of the high ones are the international greatest fellows, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gators, the Oppenheimers, the Kennedys, the nicest, all of them 13 families that rule. They're going to be punished and they're going to get chains snapped upon them and they're going to be tossed headfirst into a goddamn hole. And then when New Jerusalem comes down, which are the elect, they're going to be visited and put to work pursuant to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter and 14th verse.
Hey, all you brothers got to get into it, man. It seems like the hot spot is right here.
It says,
I want to move around.
It says, and it shall come to pass, it's back in Isaiah chapter 24, verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. Going back into Psalms 140, I think it's Psalms 149, punishing seven chains upon the kings of the earth and the rulers. So, hey, man, we're looking forward to a glorious time, man, because I'm going to take pleasure, if I'm part of the elect, I'm going to take pleasure in beating the shit out of one of them Rockefellers, man, one of them Rothschilds, and putting slaves and putting chains upon them. Hoops to asses. Yeah, you got it back there, brother.
Habakkuk chapter 2.
Everybody get into it.
Verse 6. Well, verse 5. It says, yea, also, because he transgressed by one. Talking about Esau, so-called white man. He transgressed by one. That one is what? It's philosophy. It's ideologies, which is democracy, all right? Christianity, feminism, LGBTQ, capitalism, all right, so forth and so on. All right, it says he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Yeah, and that's your United States of America military, all around the four corners of the earth. They got military bases set up all around the globe. All right, primarily over there in the Middle East, which is the hot point where World War III is going to be for that. Okay? It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied. Yeah, the so-called white man is as death, because anywhere the so-called white man dwells, death follows. Okay? He destroys every land that he inhabits.
Border of wickedness.
Yeah, pursuant to Malachi, the 1st chapter. They're known as the border of wickedness. It says he cannot be satisfied. Yeah, the so-called white man, they have billions and trillions of dollars. They have all the gold and silver, the natural resources. All right, they have these nations under their feet in slavery and captivity. All right, but he still can't be satisfied. All right, he wants to be like the Most High. All right, he wants to go into outer space. You know, yeah, he wants everybody to receive the control. Right. He wants everybody to receive the mark of the beast, which is the earth of the mercury.
How was it that over in Africa, in Niger, they call it Niger, we really call it nigger. They are rich in resources, but the people are poor, dirt poor. They got which the French was part of the Seven Hands. They got a military base in America as well, but they stealing all the resources from that country, man. And these people, they saying it was a military coup, but what they did was they kicked out the puppet government that France set up and put in place, and now the military was running everything. Now, all these different African nations, so-called African nations, some of them are Jake, they standing up, and they side with Russia. And Russia told them, listen, we forgave your debt, and we willing to give you any military hardware that you need to help you to stand on your own. So what that's telling you, man. So, hey, man, these prophecies are coming to pass, and Russia's becoming a guard to these different nations, man. And what's going to happen is they're going to supply them with military hardware, and they're going to use that military hardware. It's probably something like Ethiopia, Libya. Those are going to be ones that's going to help, that's going to come with bucklers and shields with Russia to destroy America.
Let me finish this off.
Yeah.
It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, the United Nations, you know, they have the G7 summits, okay? New World Order, the Bilderberg Group, all right? And he wants ultimate control over all nations and all people. And he's trying to do that via this New World Order, which is the image of the beast, which is going to usher in that mark of the beast, which is the microchip.
More economic fraud, like
that was it.
Isaiah 14:5. The Lord has broken over there, man. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people. Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations, continual stroke. You know, like
always gonna wait for me with the next part. You got one nation.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
He that
continual stroke.
See, it said, he that smote the people in the wrath with a continual stroke. So you gotta put yourself in the scriptures. So if a person's smiting you with wrath, but it's a continual stroke. Right. So he's not hitting you one time, he's hitting you again, and that's what Esau does. I got something real quick. Now this is from a website called, Ben, 1 second. It's from a website called, according to America being looked at as a world bully. Radio, okay. It says WRFERL.org, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. Now this is from back in 2009. Let's read this. It says, it's a poll that was done, right? And it says, the poll finds that 15 of 19 countries, excluding the United States, the majority sees Washington as bullying other countries with the threat of its powerful military. That's why I was going to tell you that terribles have deceived people, right? In 17 of 19 countries, according to the poll, the United States is seen as not obeying international law. Yet majorities, and well, that's basically the point that I wanted to get to. So, huh? Yeah.
Real quickly on that continual stroke, there's a phrase here in America, what's hurting? Everything, right? How's everything hurting? Because, you know, you walk on this concrete, now it's fucking up the lower back. Some sort of, the food, there's always something in the society that the so-called white man... Y'all got to talk loud so everybody can hear. Right. There's something in the society that the so-called white man has implemented to put some sort of physical stress on your body, whether it's walking on this concrete or what have you. All right, so it's like your body could truly never be at rest. It's always getting beaten somehow.
Yeah, physically and spiritually. All right, they can get you physically, they get you by their laws, you know, paying taxes, child support, and now you notice they're upping the taxes. They're claiming there ain't no money. You know, they're putting more stress mainly on the people of the Lord, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so on all levels they're getting you, man. I got a scripture right here real quick, seeing that your brothers are going into that. It's Revelation 18, I'm starting 3. It says, for all the nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And that's what? Through her what? Philosophies, religion. You'll find the so-called white Jesus Christ in every nation on the planet Earth, man. Even though these nations are mad, they still trust that the one you call God and his son are white people. Right? It says all the nations, and also too the policies. They're like you mentioned, capitalism, also communism, socialism. That's all of the so-called white men. All of them isms, man. It's money system, you know. So the nations have drunk, and these prophecies really started speaking when from after World War II, all the way till now. Because remember when they dropped them big bombs, the whole world was shook, you know. They were like, yo, we got to get down with them, otherwise they're gonna do us like what they did in Japan, you know. It says, for the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Oh, LGBTQ. If you don't follow that, we ain't giving y'all no money. If you don't follow these policies we're dropping on you, we're going to sanction you. You know, we're going to set embargoes against you, right? It says, and the kings of the earth, the different leaders of these different nations, right, have committed fornication with them. Yeah, it took them payoffs, you know, to make sure their people stay in line, you know? It's all a part of that New World Order, which ultimately is the New World Order. It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I mean, what me and you was talking, a lot of these nations that come here and get rich, when you check it out, a lot of them, like let's say the so-called Asians, so-called East Indians, the natural Africans, Hamites, the ones of them that come and get rich be the serfs of those countries. When you check it out, a lot of them Chinese that go over into the West Indies and set up shop, setting up shop, right? Going back to the point, all these, they're setting up shop.
On a high-speed chase.
Activated.
Just want to take my ass right home.
Babylon the Great, boy. It says, for all the Satan is mad because it's information.
That nigga was, you see that nigga when he jumped out the car, he was running?
For all the nations have drunk of the wine and of the wrath of her fornication.
Like a dope fiend.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with them. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Right, going back to my point. A lot of these nations that get rich mainly will be the serfs of those nations. They're serfs where they at, but they come over here and become and mainly getting rich off for who? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? That's why no matter where you go in this country, you go to a so-called minority community, who owns all the businesses? The heathen, the so-called Arabs, the so-called Asians, all right? The so-called natural Africans, Chinese, right? And they get all the benefits that you can't get, right? So they're waxing rich. That's why, hey, when you read down, that's why they're gonna stand afar off, even though they hate this place. They want this place to keep thriving because that's how this place have made them rich, right?
Everything is made
it says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And as we know, the times that we're in now, them delicacies are drying up, man. Right now, the FRN, that dollar for dollar bill that they trust in, is about to be destroyed. And they're going to come in with some new shit called the MOTB, baby. All right? And you ain't going to be able to buy, sell, do nothing unless you get it. And you know what? We saw what happened in the last lockdown. How the people were so happy to get them checks in the mail. You know, they were giving them so much money, or false money, all right? But they were giving so much of it that when they so-called open shit back up, people didn't want to go to work. Wait a minute. You had jobs that was once paying $10 an hour. Look, we'll give you $25 an hour. Nah, I'm going to stay home and kill like these checks. So how much more when they come with the MOTB? So they know, man, give me that MOTB, son. I want that MOTB. There's going to be a whole lot of you won't take it, man.
A lot of you fake-ass Israelites.
That's right. Fake-ass Israelite. All right? So that was a point on that, brothers.
Just a quick precept, continued stroke. Brothers getting into the continued stroke that Esau do, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 2. The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous whom Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked right, so it says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart desire. And like the elder went into, that MOTB. Right now he's very bold, the WEF, they speak in different interviews and different lectures and speaking on what they got, what they want to implement, and the CBDC, the social credit, this digital money. And it all leads to what? The MOTB, which is Bible prophecy. So it says, the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous whom the Most High abhorreth, meaning who the Lord abhors. They bless everything that is wicked, right? Verse 4, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. And when brothers get into continued stroke, everything that this devil does, he does the opposite. So this is why we catch hell. This is our captivity. And soon we almost up.
like if you brothers in New York City, well, you brothers that are not from New York City, if you take the train, as soon as you go north of 125th, you see the people look slimmer, all as Jakes, wealthier. But for some reason, when you go in the poor neighborhoods, that's where you see more people obese. And America is one of the few places in the world where really the rich people are fat, if you will. Why is that? Because the food choices that they're given. Now, the brother had mentioned the continuous stroke. We're talking about the continuous stroke. One thing that's big amongst our people is type 2 diabetes, right? Your body cannot regulate insulin. And that's because all our people know is Kennedy's, McDonald's, Chinese food, McDonald's, pizza. It's what they call a food desert, meaning you walk around, you see a bunch of establishments that should be giving you food, but it's deprived of nutrients. And that's another way it breaks up like that.
What verse is here?
Verse 6.
How many verses?
32.
32. Let's try to stay on track. Because if we keep at this rate, we'll be out here until 12 at night. So you got to, that's the focus, man. Throw a scripture or two and then move on. All right?
Back in Isaiah 14 and 6. He who smoked
You know how that is, brother. Fucking 3 in the morning.
That's right.
Want to get something to eat? Everybody should get into it.
Yeah, cut. Hey, brothers, before him talk.
What you wallflowers?
Yeah, cut, brothers. I know y'all got precepts, man.
Isaiah,
what's going on over there?
Isaiah 14 and 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
In a big way, he ruled the nations in anger is with his monetary system, the dollar. Now I want you brothers to focus on August 22nd, because that's when they're gonna have their BRICS summit, and they want to speak about the implementation of the BRICS currency. Now they said that the BRICS currency is $55 US to 1 BRICS. All right. So what's gonna happen is gonna completely decimate the US dollar. See, and that's the one that strokes these nations and continued stroke is now about to be persecuted, and nobody's going to hinder it, nobody's going to interrupt it, because it was well deserved. Go ahead.
Verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet.
Yeah, that's after that's after World War III. The whole earth is going to be at rest after this major destruction. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also, too, when the so-called white man goes down, right now the whole earth is in turmoil. Who's ruling? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? And the scripture says, what's that in Proverbs? When the righteous, go on, I got it. Say it.
When the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. When the righteous bear fruit, the people rejoice.
That's right. When the wicked bear fruit, and who's the wicked? The so-called white man. And the whole world is in mourning. And then when all these implementations, his brothers mentioned, come in, they're going to severely be in mourning, man. To the point where they're going to start killing each other. Because the lack of bread is going to come behind all of this. The lack of food, right? You talk about the food deserts. They ain't even going to have a food desert. They're going to be an actual desert, all right? They're going to fiend for that pizza, all right? Ain't going to be none of that out here. It's going to be shut down. Then they're going to start killing each other because they're going to say, okay, this guy got some money. I know he got food in his house. And they'll bust your door down and kill you. The scriptures tell you that. Or cannibalism. Go on.
Oh, yeah. I also want to mention that the sanction against Russia offset this this whole BRICS thing to the 10th power, and now they have something called the Project Sandman, to where all nations want to dump the US dollar at one time, which the money has to go somewhere. So they're pretty much going to give back the US the trillions of dollars of debt that they accumulated. So what would that mean? Hyperinflation. So if you're paying $10 for a loaf of bread, you're going to be paying $5,000. You see? And a lot of people ain't going to be able to do it. So it's going to be utter chaos in the streets of America.
Oh, yes.
Verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us.
So when the so-called white man goes down, the whole world's going to rejoice. You see, especially Israel, we're going to rejoice the most. You see, but everything is going to be in order, in accordance to the way it was supposed to be, according to the law.
For the righteousness.
A fella is one that cuts down trees, right? And the so-called white man cuts down trees, but he also cuts down people, which is synonymous with trees in the scriptures.
You got that? I got to look at that real quick.
Takes over nations.
The book of Mark, the 8th chapter, and the 24th verse. All right? It says, Mark 8, verse 23. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if you saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. So the scriptures tell you that men are compared to trees. So when it says the fir trees rejoice and the cedar rejoice, it don't mean actually trees will be rejoicing. It's talking about people, the planet Earth. Because when the righteous because when the wicked on authority, people mourn.
You know what that really means? I see men as trees walking, meaning his eyes were blurred. You could see them, then his eyes cleared up. That's what it really means. But you can use that. You know?
I got something.
Real quick. And so it says no fellow that's come up against us, meaning nobody came up to chop us down, to take us down. You know?
Yeah, Esau's the one chopping the streets down. Deforestation.
Psalm chapter 1 verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. So, there's many scriptures that like to men unto trees. Even Yahushua being the root of David, right? That's another one. Or they shall leave them neither root nor branch. So you see branches are often compared to the descendants, you know?
Like you cut the tree up, turn it upside down, and make it into one. I had a shirt with 2 trees upside down. They said without trees you don't need these. They show you like trees upside down, maybe you know, we get the oxygen and everything from trees.
The alveoli and the bronchi.
Let's jump back.
Isaiah 14 and 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming.
Yeah, your destruction.
That's the 9th verse, right?
Yes.
Somebody read that in the NLT.
Got it.
Read that in the
Yeah, I got it. This is Isaiah 14 and 9 in the NLT. In the place of the dead, there is excitement over your arrival. The spirits of world leaders and mighty kings long dead stand up to see you.
So give me one word for that scripture. Give me one word. It starts with an R.
Reincarnation.
That's reincarnation. In the King James, it doesn't describe it as being reincarnation. But in the NLT, that's reincarnation. So these rulers that you see now were back there in another life, previous lives, hating on the so-called white people. So now they got the power. Let the weak say I'm strong. Now they got the power. Because guess the reason why they're coming against Esau is not just to come up in power, it's because Esau been beating our fucking asses. So we on top of going to beat your fucking ass now. That's a part of it. It ain't always about money. It's about getting the satisfaction of fucking your ass up. Because everybody hates the white man. If the white man don't know that, if they didn't go up there and tell them, I'm telling you now, everybody hates your fucking ass. That's right. Do your own fucking practice. That's right.
Precept. I got a precept. This is Jeremiah 49 and 17. It says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved from thee to meet thee at thy coming, and stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. The rulers of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Yeah, now the kings of these nations are gearing up to take Esau down out of power. And one of that formation was the BRICS. BRICS is a major thing. And their whole thing is to take down G7, the Edomite nation. What? Oh.
America, the dude named Naomi Chomsky, American professor, he basically said America was brought to world court for acts of terror, but it was never acknowledged. You know what I mean?
Verse 10. All they shall speak. Chomsky is a fucking asshole. He was controlling opposition. You don't know about it? Because he was talking about how America is. They ain't right. But when the jab came out, he said, if you don't take the jab, you should get locked up. That shows right there, he's the inside. Control opposition. Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, see, we know everything about you, so we know about the lasers that came down, shot the power. And the count, if you check out the count, the first count of the dead was 6. The second count, I believe, was like 36. The third count was like 63. Now was Yahweh kept giving number 6, 3, or 9. Then it was, I think, 96 or 93. 9 turned around backwards. 6, 3,
Yeah, the time,
3, 6
I think the
inches.
time on it.
The last count was 114. 114 is what? 6. 4, 1 and 1 makes 6. So they're showing their incisors. We did it. We went to did it.
Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Yeah, the nation's gonna say, are you become as weak as us? Because now all nations have nuclear capability. So now it's like Esau can't flex his muscle like he used to. What?
Yeah, like he did on Japan.
Yeah.
Art thou become like unto us? This is going into a future prophecy. Because in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be like, damn, was this the great man that we read about in the Bible that very similar to the Egyptians? Like the Egyptians, a lot of times you see these Africans with the big belly and flies, remember those ads? But during the time of Egypt and back then, they were one of the peoples that was very up there. So you're like, nope. It's going to be very similar in the kingdom to the so-called white man. It says, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
Yeah, thy pride. Your pride is coming down because Esau is realizing he's losing his shit. He's losing his power. What?
And the noise of thy vials, vials, V-I-O-L-S. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
Yeah, because that's a form of the corrosion. Corrosion. Well, worms start to form, and that's synonymous with Esau's power structure. Esau's losing his grip, so now he's like in a dying decaying state.
Decomposing.
And you look at, and the chief example of that is Joe Biden, you know? He look like half dead already.
A good example of this, he's a personification of America.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is basically a personification of America.
And a fallen
The apostle. If I could, I'll make this point. Now in the scripture it said that has thou also become as weak as we, and you see that's because America is losing its power. One main reason is because they got Russia as a guard for these weaker nations. So Russia is a formidable opponent to America. And one of the reasons is, yes, Russia has been excelling America into the space race. So America had to come up with the fake moon landing, right? Now they came up with the missile, right, Oppenheimer, but Russia one-upped them with the super hypersonic missiles. So Russia is a guard for these weaker nations. So now America got to step back. So America has become is in a weaker position. So that made the other nations, now they can step up and say, you're not as strong as you used to be. So that goes, Ezekiel 38 goes into that. So Russia got their back. They're emboldened.
It says, how art thou, verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Now Lucifer just means light bearer. And that's talking about, the wise men of Esau, the elites. How you falling from heaven, your power structure. Because now all these nations, like the elder just said, is coming up against America. You see? And they have the military might to back them. That's why France is mad at America for not helping them fight Niger. You see, militarily. But even France, going into the oppressive city, they have something called the first right of refusal, which they also have over Haiti. So if they don't do business with them,
and that's a trick bag France. France is in Nigeria for one of these main resources, uranium. For what? 70% of the power of France is nuclear power, as opposed to the West. France, remember, is a part of NATO. So America's not going to fight France because that'll be Third World War. So now they get caught up on, that's Amos 5. You know what I'm saying? They run to the house and observe the bit of everything that they get, every interest that they get into, they get caught. So America said, we'll stay out of this one. Like I said, as soon as they get involved militarily, that's World War III. That means the rest of the BRIC nation got to get on the Russian side. And the Russians are backing up Africa fully, right? And then you got the NATO nation. So it plays 20 games. In other words, you got to kind of pick something out without grabbing it. You don't got to pick something out, but you can't grab it. Going to hit you or something like that. That's what is happening to America. So America's in the trick bag. Because Because if Russia shoots one missile on France, the rest of the NATO nations got shit involved. So they're fucked. And Ukraine is dead, man. Ukraine is fucking dead.
Yeah, it's like chess. It's playing chess. And every position America's in is almost exposing the king. It's like a check position. And they don't want to get checkmated, but Russia is putting them in a checkmate position. Any move is exposing the king.
Russians.
Yeah.
This guy, I forget his name. Anybody remember this guy? He beat everybody, and they had a computer go up against him. And he beat the computer, but then they made a more powerful computer, and the computer finally beat him. But the computer could beat this guy. If you look at the guy, he's like an evil man or something.
Boris Spassky.
Something, I
What you say?
forget
Boris.
his name.
His name is Boris Spassky.
What's his name?
His name is Boris Spassky.
Right. He's like an analyst. He used to be on the news and all that.
Yep.
But the number one, when they had these tournaments on chess, Russia always won. Russia always won. So they're masters at chess.
That's so
Kaspersky. They're the best antivirus is Kaspersky, which is built by the Russians. They're the best hackers, man.
I got the word for Lucifer, and it's Hayalal, which is morning star, shining one. But it's from its origin comes from the word halal. You know, we say call halal, it means to praise. So the point being is that word Lucifer or light bearer is not a bad word, as most of these Christians in the world would think. Right, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Yeah, because at one time Esau was given the power to weaken the nation.
Listen to this.
It says, how many Russian chess grandmasters are there? 246. In total, Russia still has the most grandmasters compared to 101 from the U.S.
That's me. Come on, man. And the Most High made a noble competitor. The Russians. Which are Edomites, by the way. They supposed to be brothers, but...
Feed of it. Feed of it is the last part of Easter.
Yeah, that's right.
If y'all can't see this, man, if there's any spies or the cops, the FBI, if y'all can't see this, man, the Most High gonna fuck your ass up too. He gonna get you, man. He gonna make you take that shit. Any of you spies and shit, any of you federal agents or any of you guys that get paid for this shit, you gonna wind up taking that shit, man. We done told you the truth. We done told you the fucking truth, bro. We are the men of the Lord. These congressmen, all these motherfucking congressmen and senators and shit, president, they all don't know who the fuck we are. Hey, I know who fucking Trump is. Trump is fucking this guy. Now check this out. Trump is gonna get back in. They already said if there was a race right now, Trump would win. He's a no Republican. If he goes against Biden, he gonna write Biden out. Now this is like this. Now he only did 4 years, right? How many years did he reign when he was there? 14 years. So if the Most High grants him any more years, he'll be the last president.
Yeah, that's it.
Remember when Trump said the prophets of doom should not prevail? He was talking about us.
Talking about us.
Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High.
Yeah, that happened July 16th, 1969, the Apollo 11, where he said he wanted to put his throne on the stars of heaven.
But he never went to the moon.
Yeah,
y'all know that.
Yeah, he never went to the moon.
But they went up into
atmosphere.
outside of the Earth. They never really broke the real
ozone.
They went outside the Earth itself. They got their satellites and their space stations up there just outside of the Earth's so-called atmosphere, but they really never even went past the real outer atmosphere. Yeah. They never made it through that. There's different, remember the scripture talks about different firmaments. They went outside, just outside of the Earth's perimeter. And they're in that space. So they can look at the Earth, they can get satellites.
Yeah, the Heavenly Father allowed them to put that satellites because
destruction of America got to be televised around the world. To fulfill that prophecy. They stood from afar and saw the smoke of her burning. How are they going to see that without them satellites?
Well, like Apostle Paul said, the Van Allen belt, they never broke that. Because there's another like atmosphere. You know, there's different in Genesis. It talks about the different, the firmament.
The waters within the water.
Yeah, waters. So there's different atmospheres. There's a first atmosphere there. The Lord allowed him to break that, to leave the earth itself and go outside of that atmosphere. But there's outer perimeters, other force fields that the Lord threw around the earth. The Van Allen belt, they never broke that. So they never went to the moon, but they did go into outer space, but not deep space. Like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, they didn't go to no Deep Space Nine. But they did get into just the earth. The Lord let them go here so they can set up their little shit right around the earth. You know?
Keep it moving.
Let's get back into it.
Keep it moving.
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north.
Right. That goes into the charagma too, because that's why they want to chip everybody. The Lord knows who everybody is on earth. The Lord knows every ant, every caterpillar, Yahweh. Esau want to chip everything and the animals so he could monitor every last living creature on the earth. So he wanna set himself up as the Most High.
That's what they said in the WEF. We're going to be like gods.
They said they're gods, Klaus Schwab said it.
I will ascend, verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Yes. Right. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Right, but Esau's plot ultimately is going to get him destroyed and be brought to a lower state.
That's not talking about the date. It's talking about hell that represents captivity. That's not date. Talking about what he said. You're going to burn in hell.
Make fire, eternal hell.
Eternal hell.
Bishop Nate. That's bullshit, man. That's a company devised statement.
Yeah, I mean, anybody with interpretation would know that when the prophets had a vision, they described it the best way they knew how. And John seen literally looked like a lake of fire. So how could that be hell where you burn forever? Now it was a place, he was in an aerial position, and he looked down and he see fire, you know, on a place of fire.
Most of the scriptures say hell and death was thrown into a lake of fire. So how can hell be a place if hell is going to be thrown into a lake of fire?
Well, brother, we used to say this back in One West. Heaven and King Marshall, Hafiz Ariya, Yaquab taught us this. Heaven and hell, the conditions played out on earth. We in hell right now. We catching hell. So they're going to be brought down to hell, captivity, slavery. Hey man, when the Lord raised us up on these devils, man, we in Isaiah 14, right? Yo, man, Esau gonna catch pure hell.
Verse 16. They that see thee narrowly, shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying.
Yeah, narrowly meaning with a squinting, like, you know, like disbelief.
With hatred. Yeah.
How many of y'all saw the movie, Battlefield Earth? Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth.
Y'all saw that movie?
John Travolta, yeah.
That's a great movie. I have to watch that too. After the king,
it says, they that see thee.
You know how we know they were Jacob? They were called a cyclops. If you look up the word cyclops, I don't know if it's still in Google, but they say the cyclops is a mythical man-type animal that came out of Sicily. That's what they used to say. I don't know if they say it now. Somebody can look it up, but that's what they used to say. So who came out of Sicily? Jacob.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth tremble?
Yeah, they're going to look at him squintingly, you know, like in disbelief. Is this the man? Because it was a question. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
What? That's a rhetorical question. So it don't require an answer because that's the man. That man, no, he's so prophetic. Is this the man?
Is this the man?
Right, so that definitely was man.
Like sarcastic. This our children in the kingdom. You were ruled by this.
Well, the Christian pastors, they kind of read like that too. It says, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did it shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness?
Yeah, he made the world as a wilderness because he destroyed the earth.
Destroyed cities. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Come on now.
Destroyed the ocean.
What's he going to do? They wanted to get the Hawaiians off of this thing. They wouldn't leave it, so they moved them out. So now they're going to rebuild it, but guess what? They're going to have Esau. They want to push the Hawaiians out.
Esau so much of the devil. They started swimming in a pool next the beach next to the people that ocean where the Maui took place. And then the inhabitants are like kind of mad about it.
Yeah, I just want to, and all the multi-million houses where Esau lives, of course, in Maui, they're untouched. Yeah, they got somehow they got untouched by the fire.
So it was an inside job.
Yeah, exactly.
Be careful.
It said that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof. Now in the movie, the original Planet of the Apes, you got Cornelius that he was, because in that movie the apes was ruling over the so-called white man, and towards the latter end of the movie, it was knowledge to him that the so-called white man once ruled, and he was like, damn, like it was the same sort of expression. And then that's when he popped open that scroll, and it just revealed all the history of the so-called white man in the scroll. It says
he should make a desert of your home in his.
Beastman. That's what it says. Beastman. It says that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof.
Yeah, give it to this fucking devil. Bring out all the shit on the top.
If I can say this too, even in Maui, you say, oh, not that late night neighbors lamp, right? That's exactly what they did.
We went into that at the camp.
It says that open not the house of the prison of his prisoners.
Yeah, because Esau's the only one that makes profit off private prisons, and they give Jake football numbers for petty crimes. So that's Esau. You know, he didn't never open up the house of his prisoners.
Still got these birth certificates, our driver's license, social security cards.
They're messing with the screen. Yeah, they're just connected. It shows you they watching.
Piss them off.
Fucking the meats are watching.
It says, verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory.
The screen cut off for a minute, then you reconnected. So they're watching.
Everyone in his whole house, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch.
That's right.
Which what we alluded to earlier about the trees. You could read down, it's still, you know. It says like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet.
Detailing your destruction.
Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Yeah, you're never going to be renowned, being honored. You're going to always be looked at as the devil or Satan, the ones that destroyed the earth.
Oh, like here in America, they erect statues to worship these devils. Christopher Columbus, Hernandez Cortez, Andrew Jackson, Indian Killer. So these people, they raise up statues and they worship them. But in the kingdom of heaven, matter of fact, in the kingdom of heaven, all Edomites, the name of Esau will be wiped out.
That's right.
It says, prepare slaughter for his children.
Right, so they have the argument, well, I wasn't there back then. I didn't do that. It said prepare slaughter for his children.
For the iniquity of their fathers.
So with what your ancestors did, you have to pay for that.
What? You are here.
Because you are here.
Okay, but real quickly.
Ancestors coming back through reincarnation.
Right.
So that's what people don't understand, that reincarnation exists in the scripture.
Because a man is not supposed to pay for the sins of his fathers. The scriptures tell you that. But why is it telling you that you're going to pay for the sins of your fathers? because all your fathers coming back.
Yeah, in the NLT it says
As King
Isaiah.
would say, in the reincarnation.
Yeah, Isaiah 14:21 in the NLT, it says, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins.
Read that again.
Read it again? Read it again? In the NLT, Isaiah 14:21, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins.
It says, prepare a slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor pass the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Yeah, because when you see them, when they're around, they just do wickedness, man. This is what you have.
It says, for I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
So he's cutting off everything. Even America's glory is going to cut off. He saw Edom is going to be infamous.
Real quick, because he said the nephew and all that. This is Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh, that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Completely cutting off his descendants. The seed line.
So it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 41, verse 5, the children of sinners are abominable children, and they are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their prosperity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Going to compare sort of this children. Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High, Yahweh. For if he increase, it shall be to your destruction. And if he be born, he shall be born to a curse. And if you die, a curse shall be your portion. All that are of the earth shall turn to, and so the ungodly shall go from curse to destruction. The mourning of men is about their body, but an ill name of sinners shall be blotted out.
23. I will also make, Isaiah 14:23, I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts.
That's the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the bosom of destruction is a sweeping. You're going to see a wall of fire sweep across America, east to west, just like Terminator. And from up top, it's going to look like a lake. Literally a lake of fire. Hey, John, because remember, 1 Peter, from both sides, he had flooded the earth once with water. This time he's going to flood it with fire.
I was there when I read that scripture, but that's destruction. That movie to know it too. Yeah. And in the movie where it was like that fire that came and just swooped across the country of America.
That word there for besom also means broom. All right, verse 24. The Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him up underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders.
Yeah, that's him breaking the yoke off our neck. Having us in captivity, God.
This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all nations.
So not only is he going to get Esau, he's going to get all nations. This is going to be the greatest deliverance for the children of Israel ever seen a man.
Verse 27, for the Lord of hosts has purpose, and who shall disannul
disinalienable.
Disannul it. Meaning cut it, meaning stop it, or cancel it. So that was a rhetorical question. It's like, who's going to disannul it? Nobody. Because this is what he purposed.
And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back?
Nobody. That's rhetorical. What?
Verse 28. Salakia. In the year that King Ahaz died was this burden. Rejoice not thou, O Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken.
Right.
For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice. Rejoice not thou, rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken.
Yeah, because the other nations pretty much thinking that because Esau went down, they're going to have peace too.
Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken.
Rejoice not thou, all Palestinians. Who's a Palestinian? The Arabs. Canaanites and Arabs. So it's saying you Arabs don't get up, you know, like your son and shit. Although the white man will take it down, so we will be
It says, for out of the serpent's root shall come forth the cockatrice.
You know what that is, right?
That's the missile.
And his fruit shall be
so the rod that smote them so-called Arabs, just because Esau went down, you're not getting away scot-free. You're gonna get caught up too.
Yeah, because the Arabs just mean mixture. Who's mixed in that land right now? You have Elamites and you have Ishmaelites. They're also claiming to be the owners of the land of Israel.
Yeah.
But they don't know that after America gets it, Israel gonna get it.
Well, remember, so that's what the Crusades was all about. We saw that in the movie theater years ago. Kingdom of Heaven. Saladin. Remember, Israel, this is back during the so-called, what Esau calls the medieval times or the Dark Ages, you know, the era of the knights, you know, the knights, all that, Berlin, like that so-called era, the so-called Dark Ages. Those people that were in England, and Germany, and France, Spain, those were all Israelites, we know that. You had to look back at one West Russian icons, you know. Russia, that's when Jake was ruling. So the Jakes back then, they knew that they were Israelites. They knew that they descended from the Israelites. So their thing was to go back, because at that point the Ishmaelites had took over Jerusalem. So that's what the Crusades was about. The so-called, what I put, oh my goodness, Golden Age and more. Go into the history of that. The Christian noblemen, which they were all so-called Christians in Europe, they were taking boats back to the Middle East to try to fight the Arabs to reclaim the Holy Land. Because they knew that the Arabs were occupied, they were following that Islam crap. And they knew that the so-called Christians, the people that believe in Jesus Christ, so supposed to be there. That's what the Crusades was all about. So, you know, like the Ishmaelites, because they came out of Abraham too, they knew that. Y'all know that. That's why, like the Apostle Paul said, look, break that down. The Protestant, them Ishmaelites and the Elamites, they follow Islam. They thinking, okay, but they going to, Apostle Paul said it when they see, yeah, well, we got nets, and Moab thinking they going to have nets. That's why the scripture said Moab should be a watch pot. So these other nations, they going to, Apostle Paul said it, they going to witness. That's why the Lord allowed Esau to put the satellites outside of the earth. The destruction will be televised. So, them other nations think, oh, well, you got a white man's back. We go. No.
It says, verse 30, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed.
About Israel.
No, read that again. Read that again.
Verse 29, rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice. and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent.
What does that mean by fiery flying serpent? What does that mean? What's the Hebrew word for fiery flying serpent? What is a serpent? Now, is it described anywhere else in the Bible?
In Exodus. Ezekiel.
Isaiah what?
30 and 6.
Isaiah 6? No.
30 and 6. Isaiah 30 and 6.
What Isaiah 6 and 1? Read it quick.
Isaiah 6, verse 1. In the year of the king Uzziah died, and so also the Lord
Speak louder.
lift up the string filled the temple. Above it stood the cherubim. One had 6 wings of twine and covered his face with twine. He covered his feet, and with twine he did fly.
Y'all heard that? He said the seraphim, right? In Isaiah 14, it says fiery flying serpent, right? The Hebrew word is seraphim. In Isaiah 6, the word is seraphim, which means fiery flying serpent. What does it mean in Isaiah 14, seraphim, and what does it mean in Isaiah 6, seraphim? What's the difference, or is there a difference? Let the man go through. Come on,
In this chapter is referring to the nuclear missiles, and in Isaiah the 6th chapter is referring to the chariots.
There you go.
Get this man in here.
That's why you can't be speaking. You can't be speaking over the verses, but you got to hit every verse. Remember, we know for 100%. You try to speak over that Palestinian. Let's put it there. You got to deal with every verse. Those are important verses. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a precept to prove what you said about Palestine. This is Joel 3 and 4. And they have cast lots for my people and given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye recompense? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Yeah, because when the white man goes down by these missiles, the Arabs figure Allah came and saved us, and we gonna come and say, no, motherfucker, Allah ain't no fucking Allah.
Right.
Let me see you bow to a fucking dirty-ass rug 5 times a day, we're gonna kill you, man. See, one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put the whole earth in water. And at first they're gonna buck up, then we're gonna turn into the X-Men. We're gonna get into their ass. And then they're gonna realize they're killing too many of us. Let's just listen to what they gotta say.
They had a major part in the slave trade as well.
That's right.
So, no reason.
My man, there ain't gonna be no nigga in that day. Them years ago up in the Bronx, used to be at the oil table.
Oh yeah, that nigga. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
Yo, Boss Cabana, my man.
Well, he was kind of cool.
No, he was cool, but we had to cut him off.
So come on, let's go.
Quick precept. This is the book of Zephaniah. Book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 4. For Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon a desolation. They shall drive out Ashdod at the noonday, and Ekron shall be rooted up. Woe unto the inhabitants of the sea coast, the nation of the Cherethites. The word of the Lord is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there shall be no inhabitant. In the sea coast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds of flocks. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed thereupon, in the houses of Ashkelon shall they lie down in the evening, for the Lord their power shall visit them and turn away their captivity. So the land of Israel, which is the sea coast, the land of the Philistines, is going to be for the nation of Israel, not for no Arabs, right? Not for no Canaanites, no Philistines, Palestinians. It's going to be for the nation of Israel. So the Lord is going to destroy that land. Why leap ye high hills, man? Right?
It says, shall be a fiery flying serpent. I'm not going to pull up the diagram for sake of time, but look up, brothers, look up something called a mutant missile. Now, the mutant missile has a nuclear warhead that can bend. And it can swerve. And if you look at on YouTube, if you look at the mutant missile, it doesn't travel like this. They show you it traveling like a mutant missile. You can look it up. It says, verse 30, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety.
Israel, going into scripture say, Israel shall dwell in peace and safety.
It says, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. So what?
And I was just saying that lie down and get that.
Right.
Yeah, because when you lie down, you in safety. You comfortable. You at rest. You know, and Israel's about to be in a state of rest. Peace.
Sing aloud upon their death, right?
And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant.
So about Esau and the other nations. You're about to receive your judgment.
How, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina, art dissolved.
Yeah, even Palestine and Arabs, y'all dissolved too. See? The land of Israel. Because it's about to be judgment on all nations. Because for your involvement in Israel's downfall.
They all had a part. The brother mentioned earlier about the slave trade. How did the southern kingdom get here? It was the Ishmaelites that really took part in getting the southern kingdom and sold them along with the Hamites. Don't forget about Ham to Esau. That's how Judah, Benjamin, Levi got in Esau's hands. Esau couldn't just go up. Esau couldn't just go. Or even Ruth. I was watching Ruth recently, man. The original. It was LeVar Burton and all of them. Then the Edomites showed you in Roots. When they caught Kunta Kinte, it was other dark people. The Hamites was snatching them up. And then the Edomites were like in the background. They had like Ham and Ishmael guided them in, or Esau sent them in. They got the slaves and brought them to Esau. Them damn crackers couldn't go up in the interiors of Africa. You know, man, come on, man. Aside from them different tribes that didn't like Esau, you had wildlife. You got in Africa, you got lions and cheetahs and all kind of shit. The Edomites wasn't equipped to go up in there, so it was people who knew the terrain. And then the so-called, even today in so-called Africa, a lot of them Hamites are Muslims. Because the Ishmaelites had conquered a lot of them tribes in Africa.
And what verse 30. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. How, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke.
Smoke, meaning when there's smoke, it's fire. And that fire is going to be the nuclear war. See?
What about the north?
North America?
That's Russia. That's where it's going to come from. Russia. Other goes north. You got two north. You got America north, land of the north. Then you got the othermost north, which is Russia. Land of the Medes. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone. Don't use that terminology. You're going to get all the smoke. You want that smoke? America's going to get that smoke. What comes with smoke? The fire. The fire and then the smoke.
Yeah. Russia going to pop off.
Russia going to pop off.
They're going to pop off. Like in that movie The Day After.
They're going to pop off like Peter popped off.
Yeah.
We know about that. Peter pop off. Go ahead. And none shall be alone in his appointed time.
Yeah, so no nation is going to be alone to receive the judgment alone.
Verse 32. What shall one then answer the messenger of the nation? That the Lord hath found Zion, the Lord has founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it. So with that, we're going to close. We're going to do this quick. Good breakdown.
Good.
Call your sergeant. Say the clock.
A medium.